Hi, Ben.
How's it going?
Great. I wondered, how did you get involved with Population 11?
I one of the director executive producers knows my agent, or we share a team or something, and they sent me the script. I don't think they thought I was going to do it because because it's packing up and going to the middle of the outback for 3 months in the middle of the summer. And I didn't want to do it for those exact same reasons, but I have a family, and I read it desperately looking for something that I wouldn't like, and did not find it, and then apologized to my wife, and I was like, I have to go away for some time.
What did you like best about Andy, the character you played?
um, I liked how little work I had to do. Andy is an American thrust into this dangerous and confusing world, surrounded by a bunch of the weirder Australians, um, and that's exactly that was my lived experience while I was there. It was pretty much the same. I was very much on parallel with this character, and I love that. I love that I was sort of experiencing this all in real time, the same way and at the same time as he was.
Andy tends to get injured a lot. Did you have a stuntman or did you have to do your stunts yourself?
Both. I did a lot of stunts, but I certainly had a stunt double. Anybody who was doing any of the fight scenes did, and we had a great stunt coordinator, and we rehearsed a lot. Anytime there's a fight scene, everything that you see has been like vigorously thought out and planned and rehearsed. So I definitely I came away with bad backs and exhaustion and nicks and bruises here and there, but that's because internally I'm 1,000 years old, not because I was in any kind of danger.
And what time of the year was it while you were filming in Australia? Was it summer?
It was summer for us, so it was winter for them. Thankfully, I mean it's still 1 billion degrees there. It's Northwest Australia, but it wasn't. There's a very small window of time that you can shoot specifically in that area where it's not a billion degrees, or B, completely flooded, and potentially isolating you and locking you off from the rest of the world. Um, Derby, West Australia gets hit hard by the elements, and so there's this little tiny window that we found to shoot there where it was okay.
That scene where the kangaroo hops in front of your car, I've heard that actually happens a lot there. Did it ever happen to you in real life?
Oh yeah, I mean, not in a way
Oh,
where I had to like swerve, because you're ready for it. One of the first things they told me, there was a list of alarming things that I was sent before I went out there: warnings, cautions, etiquette rules, things to survive. And one of them was just don't drive at night, because of that. Because there's also cows, there's cattle all over that just sort of wander. They're not in fences, so they'll just like wander out into the middle of the road. And then there's kangaroos that'll just show up in the middle of nowhere. So if you're driving at night, you have to drive really slowly. You got to have your brights on, and you're just constantly looking for that.
what was your favorite thing about filming this series? Was it the costumes, the wacky characters, or the location, or something else?
I mean, the location, as much as I tease about how horrifying it was at times, the location made it like an experience in my life I've never had before, and I wonder if I'll ever have again. And the people in that town were incredible. The Australians in general were incredible, but I would say for me, that cast, the cat, it's just a bunch of legendary Australian actors. They're all friends. They all know each other. They're all super warm and welcoming. They're all hilarious. And I kind of had this little, and same with the crew. I had this family of people for 3 months, in Northwest Australia that I love and I think about all the time. And I was literally texting with them this morning.
Oh, wow. Did you get any time off while you were filming to enjoy Australia?
Not really. I mean, so I was executive producing, and then I was in almost every scene. So I worked every single day. There was one week. There was a giant family trip that my family had been planning for ages, to Italy. and it was this big, amazing trip. And the old joke here in Hollywood is if you plan a family trip or a personal trip, you're going to book something that's going to ruin it, and you're not going to be able to go on it. And that's exactly what happened. It was like this month-long trip to Italy, but they were kind enough to figure out the schedule so that I could leave and have 6 days to go from Australia to uh, Tuscany, which is not a trip, not an easy trip to make. It's like a 40-hour trip all in. But I did it, and I got to see my kids, and I got to have some wine and some good food before I went back and ate at the local gas station again in Derby.
How's the food in Australia?
It depends on where in Australia you are. The food was never bad. There was a lot less of it where we were because it was such a small town. There's only like two restaurants that you're really going to, and I was literally eating it from a gas station many nights a week. But then we did a little bit in Sydney, and at the end I went to Sydney, and then there was like a town nearby that I would go on a weekend every once in a while to get away for a day, and great food. I mean, at this point, I think food is so important. It's having such a moment around the world that you're not really a city. You're not worth going to unless you have good restaurant. Everybody has good restaurants now. Australia traditionally does not have good food, but they do now.
Okay. And final question, did you know what the final episode would be before you began filming, or did you get only one script at a time?
No, I knew more than other people knew, because I was producing it as well. But we tweaked it along the way. I mean, we made a lot of changes as we were shooting. We were writing and rewriting in real time. Phil Lloyd, who's an incredible, the guy who created it, was there all the time with a laptop. But I knew generally how it ended, from the beginning.
I want to thank you so much. This was such a funny, interesting show. I'm actually hoping there will be another season because I could see that happening. But so I want to thank you so much for chatting with me today about
Thank
it.
you. I'm so glad you dug it. Yeah, I hope for another season too. And it was great to talk to you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell in the top right-hand corner if you'd like to see more of my celebrity interviews. Got a lot more lined up, so make sure you don't miss out on them.